Let's talk authenticity today. This video will be particularly valid for you if you are someone in a leadership position, especially people leadership, and you know that as a leader, authenticity is a really important part of your essential leader toolkit. So you realize the importance of authenticity, but you also realize that time to time, you do have troubles showing up fully authentically. So if that resonates, I've got two really important points that I would love to convey today that I think you will find really useful. So let's do that. I had a private coaching sessions with one of my junior leaders on my SHELEADS program. And she said, Alena, I've got a very recent example of me not showing up fully authentically. And I wanna share with you this example because it illustrates our point so beautifully and it is so simple. Look, she said, so Alena, it happened yesterday. I was on a bus on the way to work, and there was this elderly person standing next to me. I was sitting, and this elderly lady was um, standing next to me. And I thought, oh, hang on, I should I should give up my seat for this lady, right? I should offer my seat to her because she's very old. But then I was stopped and I was battling with my own thoughts because, as much as I wanted to give up my seat, I also thought, but hang on, what if I offend the lady? What if she thinks that I consider her too old to help herself? What if she will be upset with me? And so I was battling with these thoughts for about 5 minutes until the time the lady actually got out of the bus and I had no chance to offer her my seat. And I felt really, really bad. So look what a simple story. And I just want to ask you, um, how many times are you perhaps in meetings or in important conversations and you really want to say something? You want to speak up. You want to speak up for yourself or for your team, or you want to comment on something being said. You have an objection, or you have a counter argument to what is being discussed, and yet something in you stops you. And only later on you regret that you didn't do anything or you didn't say anything. Listen, it happens to us, to all of us sometime, yeah? But in leadership, this is something that we have to be very mindful of. Authenticity is crucial. So I promised you two things. And the first one is this. Remember that when you are interacting with someone, uh, you have your job, and the other, who is part of the interaction, they have their job. You have a shared responsibility over what happens in that interaction. So let's say you've got 50% of the responsibility and the other person has got another 50% of the responsibility for what happens in the interaction, for how the interaction goes, right? Now, what we often do and which stops us from being authentic is we assume the job of the other. You're doing the job of the other person who is part of the interaction, right? So the first learning point is remember, it's not only you in the interaction. Do your job. Your job is to ask yourself, what is it I want to do in here? What is it I want to say in here? And do that. But of course, do it in a respectful and kind way. Yeah. And the other person's job, the person who is on the receiving side of this information, is their job is to respond to what you're saying, what you're offering, what you're doing, right? So please, first learning point, do your job. Don't do the job of the other person. Yeah. That will definitely help you be more authentic. And the second learning point, there is one really powerful emotion standing behind of our inability to show up fully authentically. So remember that. One powerful emotion. Do you know which one it is? Of course, it's fear. It's fear. We don't show up, we don't speak up, we don't do the stuff that we want to do out of fear. Fear of being rejected, fear of being disliked, fear of becoming unpopular, fear of blah, 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 blah. You fill the gap. Yeah. My friend, if you are in a leadership position, you will have to make a lot of really tough decisions. And there is a lot of risk involved. And you have to be ready to assume the risk. There will be consequences for anything that you say or do. And yes, it could be that the decision that you will make is going to be objected by many people. It's going to be disliked by many people. And you will be disliked because you're taking that decision. Ah, that's the tough job of leadership. We have to be able to assume the risks. Yeah. So accept the fear. You will have the fear. And that fear is legit. Because yes, you may say something that will make you become unpopular. So what? Do you prefer to lie or be overly polite just to fit in? Or do you prefer to show up in your integrity with your honesty? Ask yourself that. Yeah. So this is it. Those are the two learning points. The first learning point is do your job. Don't assume the job of the other person in the interaction. And the second thing is, yes, there will be fear. Accept it and accept that there will be risk. You have to assume the risk of being unpopular, being disliked. Yeah, that's the way it is. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message or put a comment below. I'll see you next time.